let's see who is next on the list. Okay. Beach Fuzz. So yes, today on the Small Artist Spotlight, we are doing a band called Beach Fuzz. They are from Philadelphia. They're like an indie pop / rock band with a little bit of some surf influences on it, but mostly it's mainly indie pop rock. The band consists of Ross Aronow, John Crane, I'm sorry I butchered that name, I know I did, I apologize, Jack Drath, Eric Juelke, again I butchered, I'm sorry, and Jack Venneri. In 2018 they released their first EP, and then in 2019 they released their first album, Casual Encounters, and Casual Encounters will be the album that we're talking the most about today. And then in 2020 they released they released singles up to then, but most recently they released a single on May 5th, 2020. So like I said, first we're starting with Casual Encounters, their album in 2019. So this album really starts off with two songs that are literally the definition of indie rock. The classic reverbed guitar. And I didn't get to dive too much into the lyrics, but what I did get from it was, so the first song, Casual Encounters, is talking about hookups and stuff, and like the casual encounters, and he's actually looking for something more than that. The drumming is going to be on point throughout this entire album and throughout their entire discography. Natalie Crane, which I'm assuming is John Crane's sister, she does great on this song. She'll come back in a couple, I think the last song, if I'm correct with that. And then Join the Club follows that song. That song has a great chord progression. I love the guitar sounds, the drumming again. The vocals, I'll talk about the vocals a little bit because they do something very interesting with the way that they handle and mix vocals. And then also, I'm not going to be ranking each song from 1 to 10 anymore. I think that this series is more about promotion than criticizing and analyzing, and I'll leave that up. I'll leave that to bands that don't need any more promotion, and that I can't do anything to help them out because they're already big enough. So on Denim, Natalie Crane comes back, and it's a really nice change of pace because now we're starting to see more keys being added into it, and I love that touch. And we get to Cross My Mind, and Cross My Mind is fantastic. It's amazing. There's like a 2.5 minute key solo that just sounds awesome, and then towards the end he's going crazy with that. I think that's Jack Drath, and that is an amazing element in that song, and I love it a lot. And then that bleeds into Sunshine. Now Sunshine is probably my least favorite song on the album. It didn't click with me as much as the other ones. I don't know why. I think it's just kind of my taste is a little different than that sound. But then Walter's song does bring it back around, and the drumming is fantastic. I love the vibe to it. It sounds great. And there's horns too towards the end. Amazing. Beautiful. And so again, we're seeing more keys and more pianos and stuff involved and more synths now. And each song is starting to bleed together, and I love that choice. I love when songs bleed together. And then I thought I knew this song at the very end has literally the best piano, like the most beautiful piano that I've heard in a long time, and it's so catchy and it's already stuck in my mind. I want to go back and listen to it. It's fantastic. Again, shout out Jack Drath for that because wow, that's a great touch on that. So 39 is a great ending song to the album. But I do have one problem that I think can elevate them a little bit more, is that they built up to this nice ending where Natalie Crane comes back and they call back to Casual Encounters, but it lasts like 10 seconds. It needs to last longer. It needs to be bigger and grander, and I think that ending would have had a lasting impact more than the 10 minutes, because once it started going up, or the 10 seconds, once it started building up into that 10 seconds, I was like, oh shit, like here we go, but then it died out. But if that's a glimpse of what they can do, amazing. And it's so smart, and I love bringing it all back around, because this album and what they sing about is a lot about love. And I know it's cliche, but I love how they brought it back to the very beginning of the song. That's genius and very clever. So the mixing and the production of this album is great against like every single one of their songs and every single one of their EPs. The mixing is fantastic. I love it a lot. It sounds very crisp. And then, like I said, the way the songs bleed together, I love that a lot. It sounds like it makes it more like a story and more like we kind of relates to them a little bit more. And then the vocals, because here's the thing. The vocals on this album aren't gonna be perfect, and I love that. Actually, it sounds raw. It sounds like they just did one take, but it was a good take. I love not adding any bit of auto-tune to it, because then it sounds, it's all of them, you know. It's nothing or pitch correction, nothing about them is not them. And I love the rawness in the voice. I think that's a very unique and smart thing to add into an album like that, and to their sound in general. And then I forgot to talk about the bass throughout this entire album. Jack Venneri does a great job with the bass on this album. The bass is very tricky, because you don't want too much of the bass, but you don't want just quarter notes of the bass or whole notes of the bass. That's boring. And he does a fantastic job adding in the right amount of bass into the song. And for a song like Ron's Steakhouse, the bass is what carries that song, and it's an instrumental song, but it carries the song, and it's got a great line to it. It kind of reminds me of Something by the Beatles a little bit. I love it a lot. Shout out to him for that. So then I went into the future and looked at their most recent single, Why Can't I? And to my pleasure, they've kept the same sound, which I do love a lot. The vocals are still raw. They're still great drumming. The guitars still sound the same. But they're starting to master it a little bit. And now I think it's time to add some different elements in there. I think if you add some synths and some more piano, like the best parts of this album are the parts that have synths and piano, and then combine it together with the raw vocals and the guitars and the chord progressions and stuff and the strumming, it's going to click very tightly. And in this song, Why Can't I, they talk about mental health issues, like why can't I do this? Like, why can't I be alone? And I do love that concept. But like I said, a lot of their songs are about love or about a girl, about mental health. So I think it might be time to start diving into other areas and other aspects. But I have literally no complaints with that, because if a song sounds good, I don't care. Well, I do care what it's about, I'm not going to listen to a song about extreme things, but I'll listen to a song about love, that's fine for me. But yeah, this album is like, you could just play it at the beach and literally be sitting back, like with these headphones, sitting back and rocking with it, and people would be vibing with it too, because it's a good album and people need to listen to it, and they have a good sound to it. And I do want to know where they came up with the sound, with the name Beach Fuzz. I want to know if it's inspired by Beach House or not. I know they probably get that question a lot, but I do find it interesting. I like knowing where people's names come from. So they have, I think, 3 EPs out so far, and I haven't listened to all the EPs, but I have listened to their first album. At their core, they have the definition of indie pop in them, but then they'll add different instruments in there that makes it unique. Like, I think I heard a xylophone, or I forgot what it's called, in one of the songs. I can't remember which one it was, but that was a super, super nice touch. And then like the piano, and then like synths and stuff like that, and then with some raw vocals, and then also changing vocalists or having 2 vocalists trading off. It's beautiful. It's very smart. It's a clever band, and I hope that they keep on writing, and then I also hope that you guys check them out, because they're fantastic. They're phenomenal. Or hopefully they'll get to the point where they are a force in indie pop, because I do believe they have the talent. And like I said, the production's so tight and everything, like that's not a problem. I think it'll just take them, another album or 2 until like they're on the spot, and they kind of already are. They're pretty popular. A couple other, like 2 or 3 of their songs have over 1 million plays, which they deserve a lot more in some of their songs. Yeah, the last 4 songs on this album are amazing. They all bleed together, and it shows really what their strong point is in their sound. And the first song also shows like, hey, if they want to make indie pop, they can do it, and they can deliver a punch. This band's great. Again, they're Beach Fuzz from Philly. Guys, check them out. Anyway, as you can see, different setup for today. Should be back for same setup on Friday. I'll see you guys later. Make sure you guys check out Beach Fuzz and let me know what small artist to check out next. I'll see you guys.